Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. The Desi Hip Hop Podcast, episode 18.
Yo, what's up, guys?
It's your host, Justice, Just Deep. I got Jason Maharaja in the building, and we got a special guest today.
That's how we do in Scarborough.
Coming all the way from Scartown. I guess you would say the biggest Desi Hip Hop support and making the most moves in that industry in the city, most likely. I feel like.
That guy's not here, but Sats.B's here to represent.
Whatever, I was trying to make it a big intro.
I appreciate it. God bless.
Yeah, that's how I feel, right? So that's what I'm gonna say.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Doesn't like that?
It's been a decade of hustle, so
right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So what's new, man? What's everyone up to? Jason, how you doing?
Good, man. It's been a crazy week.
Long weekend.
Yeah,
Easter.
Yep.
Happy Easter to everybody.
Happy Easter.
I don't know if the Desis be celebrating Easter, but some of them do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I see it these days on Snapchat and Instagram.
Yeah.
So what do they talk about more when Vaisakhi happens, time of New Year happens, and Easter all happens at the same time?
So that's what for us it was Vaisakhi, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was at Gerrard Street, hanging out, checking out the fun stuff that was going down.
Yeah.
And then on Friday night, I was at a South Indian New Year's launch.
Right.
And then last night with a Sri Lankan New Year's lunch. Okay. So there's been like 3 days of music, man.
I seen on Instagram.
Yeah, and it's like a weekend of Tamil food mixed with like Indian food, and I'm going straight vegan for the rest of the month. That's it. We're done. Salads only. It's crazy.
Vegan life.
It's crazy. It's just our food just eats you up, man.
Oh yeah.
Too much masala, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Even the banquet hall parties on the weekend here, there was a lot of weddings.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for Vaisakhi, the gurdwaras, the restaurants, like they're holding their own. I guess in Punjabi we call it mela.
Yeah.
I don't know what they say in English. But they're having a mela, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we call it. Right? It's just like they got all the food on the streets. The only difference would be in India, all that would be free.
Yeah.
But over here, you gotta pay to get the
$10 butter chicken.
You gotta get the sweets.
It's a formality now.
Right.
That's all it is. If it's Diwali, you gotta make sure you get boxes and go to every relative, even if you don't see them for the whole year.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
like a thing now. And it's a business for all the restaurants out there.
Yeah, man. It was nice. It was nice. We didn't celebrate too much at my house, but
no, not this year.
I'm not too religious. My parents all went to the Gurdwara and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
I didn't even know it was Indian New Year, like Tamil New Year.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, "Yeah, it is." I'm like, "Okay, it's cool. What do we do today?"
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happened this month. Sikh Heritage Month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Hamilton. They had a huge poster downtown Hamilton across like the top of the from building to building.
Wow.
It was like a little turban young kid, yellow pagan, and it's a happy Sikh Heritage Month. I was shocked because we don't get that in Brampton.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. I didn't even know there was that many of us in Hamilton, but there's a lot of.
We're everywhere, man. The largest minority group in Canada by 2017. So we can't miss us.
And Canada kind of loves the. I guess Justin Trudeau loves the multicultural.
Yeah, he's a poster boy.
Speaking every language, and saying Happy Vaisakhi and Happy New Year Chinese, and he's doing it all, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Planning on votes, that guy. Well, give us some money, damn it. We could use it.
He's helping the South Asian urban community, though, right?
But it's changing, man. Like when you look at BET, right?
Yeah.
They have Black History Month, and the whole culture is just.
Right.
It's just gone mainstream now. Right?
Yeah.
And I see the same thing happening with the South Asian culture.
Right.
It's just a matter of timing and having all those things. And it's not just about music, it's about having talk shows and podcasts.
Yeah, I think people need to be more open to doing other stuff. Especially the musicians, man.
Yeah.
Because all the musicians I know that I've met, they just want to make music.
Yeah.
That's all they want to do is make an album, my mixtape, my album, right? I don't really hear too much creativity. Even Drake stopped calling his shit an album; he calls it a playlist.
Yeah.
So
that was crazy,
right?
Yeah.
You gotta evolve with the times, I think.
Well, I was in New York. I was in New York, and just riffing off what you just said, just even the discussion of like, what is mainstream?
Yeah.
Like, if a Mickey Singh does a song all English, is that mainstream now?
Yeah.
If he puts a chorus with Hindi in it, does it not become mainstream? Like, what is mainstream?
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Like, you know, this podcast for me, other than the fact that we're three brown dudes, it's mainstream content.
For me, I know what you mean. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
but we keep asking that question,
right?
Yeah,
and there's no answer. But every time we ask that question, it creates this segregation.
Yeah,
because we're identifying there's something we're not,
right,
or we're trying to be. And I'm like, this is just a good fucking podcast. Drop the F-bomb.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's a very interesting. Like I was telling you guys before we got started.
Definitely.
You know, we didn't get any funding because we're for the first time recognized as an urban show.
Yeah.
Conveniently, in a year where culture was what they're celebrating.
Right.
Every other year we get funding because we're urban culture.
Yeah.
So I'm
and
like,
that's desiFEST, right? Like,
desiFEST I'm like, who makes the choice to go, 18 brown dudes and making music on stage, and we look different. We wear skinny jeans, wife beaters, big chains, and tattoos. Is not culture.
Yeah.
Who makes that decision?
That is the culture now.
Right?
Well, I guess
it is a version.
It's definitely part of the culture. Right? It's not part of the culture. That's for sure. But when they're trying to take it out of the culture in a sense, well, I don't know if that's probably the wrong word, but it seems like there's an agenda to take that side of the culture out.
Well, even in our the fan mails I get, which I love, some of them have some hate in it.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh, we got to get more people like Vidya Vox and the good R&B and then we don't want this hip hop version of the culture.
Right.
And then people email me saying, when are you bringing Divine down?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's straight hip hop. So what do y'all want to see?
Right. And that's the thing is that everyone has their own.
Yeah.
Right? It's like everyone has their own artist. Everyone has their own fan base, and it's up to the artist. Really, I think it's not really mainstream. It's up to the artist to make moves to get to that level.
And it's like as fans, who we listen to is based on what we're going through.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I'm feeling Drake this year and next year I'm a Kendrick, or I just hate everything, I'm back to my Biggie.
Straight the fuck up.
The artist is putting out versions of their life and their filter, and we hopefully resonate with whatever it is that means something to us, and that's it.
Right.
That's as simple as what it is for music for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
So when people say mainstream, like again, anybody could have a mainstream track.
Yeah.
Their career might not be mainstream, but they can make a mainstream song and put whatever their money funding behind it and get it out there, or even just make a song that's good. Like, I seen artists just come out of nowhere and just disappear as well.
Yeah.
Over the history of R&B, hip hop, pop, everything.
Yeah.
It's been happening a lot these days.
I like they still make a mainstream hit.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think people are boxing themselves in too much. They're not open to new ideas, and that's what's causing them to feel like they're in the underground, stuck in the underground, right?
A lot of artists,
they're not hustling hard enough.
A lot of artists I've met, they're always looking for that one hit.
Yeah.
Like that's their motivation the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Especially when they're new.
As a writer or as an artist myself, I understand that. It's like, yo, you want to make that hit that everyone fucks with and everyone's like, that's that song, and you got quotables in there that the whole club will sing, right? But you definitely have to get yourself to that level first. You can't just like drop a hit from your basement and expect the world to fucking love it. But you can make a hit from your basement, but that doesn't mean that like you can, there's moves that have to be made on the side as well. Right.
Well, here's the other thing. Like, when I meet artists now and they want to get on stage, and I say, okay, it's cool, but what made you become a musician? Like, what? Because this is not something that you get into for a good living.
No.
There's no money in it. Fame is something that is out there, but you can never probably touch. Right? So why are you doing what you do? Why are you making beats? Why are you writing? Why are you performing? Why are you investing money in infrastructure?
What's the fire behind
this?
Right?
And most of them don't have an answer. Right? And on the academia side, at least we can say, my dad wanted me to be a fucking doctor. There's an answer. It's not a good answer, but you're like, my dad made me an accountant. But why do you want to be a goddamn musician?
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
And people don't have the answer. And so, I come from the time where people had a story to tell. Right? And so they couldn't paint. They couldn't program an app. So they wrote a song. Or they wrote a poem that got a beat to it. But I look at a lot of these cats coming out, I'm like, why are you doing what you're doing?
Straight up.
And that's why
I think
you see when they release their product, the other person, there's not a lot to be inspired from anymore. Like, I have to go back and watch these Jay-Z, P. Diddy videos and Jordan videos and interviews to inspire myself sometimes, because this new shit ain't like, it's not doing anything. It's like, yo, what is this?
Well, it's not the new shit. It's a lot of these artists, they're not really showing their story, and the ones that are, people fuck with them.
Yeah.
People fuck with Wayne, and his whole life's been in the industry.
Right.
Right? He's been since he was 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's guys like Kevin Gates who just come up, and those guys that are his fans know his whole fucking story.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like I don't know it.
Right.
That's why his music doesn't appeal to me. But those kids, that younger age group, they fuck with that shit heavy. And they know, like, oh, they tell me, like, he blew up because rumors were that he had sex with his cousin. Right? That was the rumor. Right? Yeah. That was like, and I was like, that's not cool. Right? Yeah. But like, when you go through his whole storyline or whatever, I don't know it. So to me, it's still weird as fuck.
Yeah.
But they fuck with him still.
Yeah.
That and to me, it's like, that's like gimmicky ways to blow.
Right.
Right? But some guys can know how to like leverage that into a career. Like, I made a song called Fake Jordans. Right? It came out, I dropped it when the Golden State Warriors beat LeBron James' Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals. I dropped it the same week. I got 100,000 plays in the first day, right? I was not ready for that. I got 1 million plays in the first month. I was not ready for that, right? I put the whole video with LeBron James traveling and doing stupid plays and whatever, right? I knew the gimmick would work, so I put it out there. But I wasn't ready to leverage that. So I missed a huge opportunity where I had 1 million people commenting and going crazy over this fucking video and hating me or loving me, you know? And I knew it worked. It was the Donald Trump theory, you know? Like, you just say a bunch of fucking shit and people react. And people react. Love it or people hate it, It's the reaction, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to cause, right?
Well, if reaction is something we measure against, man, we get some really cool hate mail. It is awesome. Like every time we get the show happening, and you know, it's this anger that's misunderstood.
Yeah.
And they don't know where else to channel it. Yeah. And I decided 10 years ago that, you know, the only way we're gonna leverage our brand is if we put a face on it. People gotta love or hate you.
Right.
But if there's nobody there.
See, I tell people that all the time. I tell real estate guys that. I tell even truckers, like, yo, your face has to be out there.
Right.
Then nobody cares about like I say, like whatever, Maharaja Radio, Maharaja Sound. That's us. Nobody cares about that. They want to know who that is, what they do, who the fuck these people are, man.
Exactly.
And that's what the key thing was. I was like, yo, Jason is more important than Maharaja Sound. Justice, Just Deep is more important than fucking my brand. Whatever, right? Like, if people don't know me, they can't fuck with it. Right?
Yeah, so, everything is you know, your view of the world. You know, 10 years ago, desiFEST was a very angry platform.
And like even desiFEST, like for me, I'll tell you my opinion when I first heard desiFEST, because these guys were like, and I'm not gonna lie, because these guys were like, yo, let's go perform at desiFEST, and I was like, nah, bro, fuck that, that's not cool, right? And at that time, I was very like, my music is in English, and for me, I write English, like I listen to fucking everybody in, you know, like from North America. Even UK, I like that grime shit too, but like R&B, everything, right? But I was like, I don't know about desiFEST, right? So I started watching behind the scenes. I started seeing, and I saw you, and I was like, okay, this, like, he seems like me. You get what I mean? Like, I could chill with that, right? I had performers that were coming back telling me, yo, that's where you blow, that's where you blow. Like, that's what the artists think. But I thought that shit's like too Indian. I thought it was like, you know, going to my parents' like festivals and stuff, right? Like, that's the first vibe I got. And I'm just being honest, right? So as I started doing research, and because I started watching and I seen like Deep Jandu, even that kid Rajan from Brampton, like everyone's coming there. And I'm like, damn. Like, everyone started here, really. Like, everyone started there. It's up to them whatever they did afterwards. But a lot of guys started and got their confidence there, and the whole city saw them there.
Well, that was our plan, right? Like, you know, 10 years ago when we started this thing, it was really out of anger, because I would volunteer at some of these other festivals, and they'll pay a shit ton of money to these really good UK artists, but they'll actually charge local artists to perform. Like, pay us a couple $100 and you come on stage. I'm like, first of all, they don't have fucking couple $100. Second of all, even if they pay you, you're putting them on at like 1, 2 in the afternoon, where it doesn't actually help them. Right? So, but there's no other platform, so they're gonna come and do it anyways. But everybody loses. Everybody. And that last headliner that comes in and takes a big fucking wad of cash and pieces out, they don't have any value back to us. So I was like, yo, I know all these guys. Let's put them on a stage. And I remember this girl was like, she looked at me in my face and she said, hey, if you really dig it that much, go do it yourself. And as God would have it, they imploded the next year. And it was a massive vacuum. And I was like, fuck it. You know, somebody taught me the blueprint.
Right.
I'll just step in. And I've been doing clubs and promotions and DJing for my entire life without knowing why. But all of a sudden, it's like watching The Matrix, right? Like, I saw it and I'm like, okay, all of that shit that I learned, how to flyer people, how to fucking get people into clubs, marketing it, all has now a value.
Right.
And you never knew when you first did it.
The dots all connect.
Right? Like, you know, I've done club gigs, man, where like nobody showed up and we still have to play. And you stand there and the owner is giving you this death stare of like, you just fucking killed my Saturday night with nobody here. And the DJ still got to perform. We can't close doors because at 1 a.m. a bus could come with a ton of people. So you just build this like this muscle memory and then everything just sort of, you know, hit a home run. But I still remember that first year going and meeting with every artist and having that discussion. I'm like, I'm going to pay you because that's what we have to do. It's a 12-hour show. We're 99% Canadian. And there was so many people who were like, what's in it for you? And the hardest thing I realized is to genuinely do something for somebody else.
And that's
is the hardest fucking thing. I'm like, I got sponsors, I got marketing, I'm giving you money. Tell me how much you want to get paid. It's our show. Let's go. And so many of them are like, nah. You know, and right down to the name. Like, if you break it down, Desi in Sanskrit simply means our people. It doesn't imply culture, religion, language, nothing. It just says our people. Which is what we wanted to mess with. We're like... Because it creates a perception, which is not true. And everything about desiFEST is about breaking perceptions. Right? And you know, I remember when I first told my team, I'm going to be the poster boy. And they were like, what if something happens? You're fucked. Because I just started my agency. We just won a bunch of big clients. They're like, yo, if something happens at desiFEST and it goes into the news... When they Google you, that's all they're gonna see. And I remember reading like what Diddy did, what Jay-Z did. And I remember Diddy's first concert, somebody got shot up. And that was his first concert. And I was like, shit, man, because Young Dundas Square. And we're not saying this is a Tamil show or a Punjabi show. We're saying this is a South Asian show. So I had no idea who's gonna show up.
It's pretty rowdy.
Right? And I remember the very first year, like the crowd was perfect. We had all the nationalities. We had guys with Pakistani flags, India flags. But my issue was my own people. Because again, we came with so much bias and this filter. We had these white security guards where as soon as people were dancing in a group or holding up flags, they were ready to jump in there and like boot them out. I'm like, just take a step fucking back. Like let people
That's intense, man.
Be patriotic. And that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to be on stage because I get the full view of everybody. And I can stop the show and have a conversation. And so many years, we've actually stopped the show and be like, why is this stress happening? Why are you fighting this guy? Why are you pushing this person? And we would stop the music and have a discussion. Right? But this is where we're like, yo, from day one, and even now, 10 years later, there's still this massive perception of who we are even before we say anything. And it's the fight that desiFEST took on 10 years ago. And I think we have another 10 years of fight left in us. But it only happens when all the artists also say, yeah, that perception, you can go fuck yourself with it. Because I'm a smart dude. I love who I am. I love what I do. This is the kind of music I make. And none of it is an opening for you to judge me. Right. And that's the movement that we're sort of...
And I see that. And that's why when we started the podcast, we seen like... Because people were telling us, oh, you guys can't do a Desi hip-hop podcast in English. Like, that was a lot of the comments we were getting. Like, you guys can't do it in English. It has to be in a certain language, Hindi or Punjabi or whatever, Urdu or whatever language they were telling us, right? And I was like, nah, we got to do it in English. Because there's a bigger market as well. Like, the younger kids don't even know their languages, first of all. But just in general, it needs to be more professional. It needs to be in the English language. It just seems better. We need to have girls in here talking about these artists. We need to have... Because people listen to them. Right?
I mean, I can't vibe with it. Like, I speak Tamil.
Right.
You know, and it's funny, this is the first time I went to 2 Tamil events. I usually never go because, A, I don't get invited or it's not in my circle. But now I'm aggressively, you know, expanding my circle. And I went to a South Indian version and a Sri Lankan version. And it's both Tamil, but one I didn't fully understand because Dalek is so thick the South Indian one, it's like being back home, and I understand everything, but it's also too much because I'm not used to hearing and speaking so much of it in one fucking evening. So my head is like over processing. Like jokes weren't funny anymore. I was just like, I shut down. This is too much. But I'm sitting there going, hey, here's a large community that I've never had a footprint in, right? But they've got urban artists in there. Now they got hip hop artists. They've got R&B singers. They got playback. They're like, some of these guys just grow up here and they know music for what it is, right? And I'm like, shit, we got to bring some of those guys on board. But we all speak English. Yeah. But if this show was not in English,
exactly,
it won't resonate with me, right?
And that's what my whole focus, like my vision was, like it has to be in English. Like you could say some words in different languages, but it has to be in English. That's what I was saying too.
And we need it to be a different show because I don't understand any of the language. Like 99% of my content, I don't understand. People send me shit.
You're a dope MC on stage, that's for sure.
Because I feel off the energy. This is, what I learned as a DJ growing up is. If you know the emotion of the crowd, it doesn't matter what you play, right? Like set list planning is so important, right? And that's my attitude. So when I look at all these artists, and we get over 150, 200 submissions, and I tell people, like, we literally have 18 spots, and I'm not looking at your music per se, but I'm looking at the emotion of the day.
Right.
And then how do we bring people on that journey? Because if you're at desiFEST for more than 2 hours, you're going to experience something totally different. Because that's like 4 or 5 artists that we squeeze in, right? And if you're there, you see a transition of content, of culture, of age, of gender, all of this kind of cool stuff. So I'm like, so we can't just think about it. The other stupid thing, and I'm going to put this out there today, if any fucking artist is listening, there's no such thing as a nighttime act in our show. The fucking sun doesn't go down till 10:30. So everybody wants the evening spot. I'm like, I don't get it. Why does the sun going down make your goddamn music any better? In fact, the best spot at desiFEST is between 6 and 8. That's when people are fresh, energetic, they're ready to, they're open to something new. The reason we put headliners per se at the very end is it takes very little effort to jive with them. You already know Mickey's song. You already know Apache's stuff. You already know H. Dame's stuff. Definitely. So you don't have the same effort. But if you're new, you can't get people to work hard to like you at 11 or 10:30. You want them at 6. So I'm like, take the 6 p.m. spot. Nah, bro, we want to go later. For what? Sunlight doesn't make a difference. It's like this perception again. It's like all of these rules we've created of what it feels like to be an artist. I'm like, just break some of that shit.
The last performance we did was at Sikh Heritage Month event last spring, and that event was the same thing where we weren't the end of the night. We were early, but because of Jason actually, he set the tone for everybody there. Because all the artists were coming, and it's another thing. The venue matters, right? So we're at a Sikh Heritage Month, and you bring up a black rapper. And you bring up a white rapper. And people are just like, what the fuck is this? Right? And that's kind of what the event was. So when Jason came on, he did his little thing, started saying Sasika and doing, doing the traditional thing. And then he started rapping in very basic Punjabi. Very basic. And even the old men with the white beards just loved him. They were so happy we came. And that's part of being an early event. Like, setting the mood, right? Like, being early, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., I think desiFEST is popping at that time.
And I tell people, like,
downtown Toronto, people are there at 1 p.m.
Like,
hell fucking
30% of our crowd is non-South Asians, right? They're just there to experience the music, right? Which is brilliant because you don't know who's in the crowd, what A&R rep, what music rep, what TV rep is there. Number 2, the crowd that I get by 3, 4 o'clock stays till the end. So you have no crowd advantage by going later. It's not like people leave and a new busload comes. From 3 to 11, it's the same group of people. Right? So, who cares? If they like your music, they like your music.
And that's what it was for us, because we were early, and we set the tone. It was the same people the whole time. And like you said, they like the whole show. Like they need up and down. They can't have all the stars at the end, and they're just sitting there through a bunch of shitty acts.
I'm like, you look at shows like Coachella, right? No, people don't go there for the evening lineup. Music is music. If you got good content, and that's what I also tell people: plan your set for an outdoor event. Know what it's like. That 50% of your vocals won't actually come across. So it's about your energy, your hype, your onstage presence. You come and stand in the middle, or they jump around like erratically that you can't really follow anything, right? And these are days I'm like, y'all need a manager, man. Somebody to like just give you some guidelines.
I think See, for me, I'm a football fan.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, it's practice all week, game on Sunday. Right? Like, that's how that's how I move. Right? Like, I'm a big Bill Belichick guy. So, like, that's how I move. Right? So, when it comes to that kind of shit, it's like, how are you not dissecting other people's performances? How are you not watching? Because, like, with Jason, when I met him, he'd never performed before. Yeah. Right? And I'm way old. I'm like 6-7 years older than him. So, I've been doing this from time. So, I've been to, like, Black Lives Matter events, rallies like that. We've done everything. So, when I was there, I'm like, yo, we gotta watch a type of performance that you feel like you're similar to. Yeah. And try to copy what they're doing. Right? And just, so we were the only ones that had, like, video footage on the wall while we were doing, like, we went all out. Yeah. Right?
That's what people remember, man. Like, you know, I tell people, like, unless people have already heard your music, your music is the last thing they remember. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. It's the truth. Yeah. They remember everything else, from what you wear, what you say, what you do on stage, what you do in between your sets. Right? Yeah. That's what they remember. Mm-hmm. That's what you got to polish. And then people come like, yo, this is my track. I got 80,000 views on YouTube. Okay. I know. But that track doesn't resonate well in an outdoor event. Yeah. Right? It's about how you connect with people. Right. You know, and this is where, like, you know, our community, we talk a big game, but we're also not putting in the work.
No, I agree.
Right, put in the work. Yeah, like, you know, I see people coming like iPhones and the lyrics on there. I'm like, you have one fucking job: memorize your goddamn song. Straight up. Like, what else do you got to do in life right now, man, when you know you're gonna perform a goddamn track?
The fuck out of that. My problem is I'm an asshole. I would be like, dog, fuck out of here! You're gonna ruin my show, man.
That's true.
I'm like, the minute I see somebody with that stand and the iPad on it, I cringe.
I'm not nervous game day. Right, like that day, like even with Jason's not nervous because we're so ready. Yeah, we practice for days, hours. Like, that's all we do. We'll stop recording, stop sessions, stop everything, and just be like, yo, 4-hour practice. Right, and it's one performance, 3 minutes, but we're doing like 4-hour practice. Like, and that's how we did it.
And this is what I tell people. I'm like, when we talk about, again, back to this idea of mainstream. Mm-hmm. You know, there is a work ethic that goes into becoming somebody in the music business. There's a work ethic. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right?
You gotta build a resume.
And you can't skip on it. Like, the formula that one hit wonder happens, yes, but it happens in, like, these micro moments.
Yo,
everybody else, like, you gotta put our fucking time in.
Because you're consistent.
And if you're saying actual one hit wonder overnight, I don't know. That's very rare. Yeah. Very rare. Like, these people have been slept on for years and they have one hit and they might go away. Yeah. Right? But like, or they've been DJs or they've been doing something in that industry. They don't just come out of nowhere. Yeah. Even like Raja Kumari, she's been in the industry so long. Yeah. And nobody heard her fucking name till last year, and still people don't know who the fuck she is. Yeah. And I've been sharing her with everybody. Yeah. I think she's dope, and we should be sharing. She's a girl. Like, we need more artists like her. Yeah. Right? Especially doing what she's doing. So I fuck with it heavy. Yeah. And that's why I was like, I always have to give a shout out to somebody. So there it is right there.
Well, it's funny. I was on YouTube yesterday just looking at some of the content. Yeah. And randomly there was a site called, or a channel called How Much Are They Worth? It was Beats by Nav, right? Okay, yeah. So I clicked on it, and I never really knew the guy. Then lately he's been blowing up, and then I'm like, okay. So I watched this thing. But what's cool is they broke down like how he made it from like high school up.
I think I've seen it.
Really cool, right? Because people see the latest version. Yeah. But I didn't know this cat was in the studio in high school.
Yeah. He had other tracks out. Yeah. On his sound, like 7
years he's been later. Doing this.
Yeah, working on his vocals. And I was like, when somebody says he's making $4 million, that's over 10, 15 years.
Of investing your time.
And also, like, with him, he doesn't, like, he got into the right situation. Yeah. Right? It's like a lot of people would have wasted 15 years and gone nowhere. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right? And then what is he going to do after this? Right? In the sense of, like, on his own. Yeah. Right? And it's going to be interesting. Yeah. I'm not saying he's not going to do anything. He probably will. But I mean, like, what is he going to do? Like, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, but, you know, we all put our time in, right? And that's why, you know, when I look at some of these artists, I'm like, desiFEST is not a magic pill. Mm-hmm. No. Getting on stage doesn't actually do anything. It's the journey to get on stage. Yeah. You got your 25 minutes. Yeah. And then what you do after that.
How do you get that right? Keep flowing? How do you get that energy to keep
like, you know how many people I say, like, invest and like, video your performance. Yeah. Because you don't have any live performance videos. Mm-hmm. You want to get booked on any other festival, they're not going to ask you for your music video. They're going to say, show us some live performance footage. Right. If you don't have any, how do I know what you're going to do on stage? Yeah. Right. So if you're gonna be on stage, fucking record it on your iPhone. I don't care where. Yeah. They don't do it.
Yeah.
I put the clips together and I send it to people. They don't share it.
Yeah.
Right? Because
that's the biggest problem.
I'm like, I'm done on stage. I'm done on stage.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm good. I'm like, nah, the stage is really just one aspect of this complex formula.
Yeah.
You know how many people tweet and Facebook that they're gonna be on stage? 2% of my show. You know how many people do a post release of pictures and videos?
No.
0.
I know that. And that's what I'm trying to say is like, and that even with
like, it stresses me out.
Yeah.
Even with Nav, even with Beats by Nav or whatever his name is, right?
Navraj.
I don't even see his face anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't see him doing a vlog or talking to the fans he's only known because of the label he signed with and the people that he works with at this time.
Yeah.
And before that he wasn't fucking known.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know shit about him.
Yeah.
Besides that one video.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So like for me, I like that's like an overnight star, but he's not.
Yeah.
Because 10 years, like you said.
Yeah.
Right? But like other people have to put their whole life out there.
Yeah.
Like I see Humble the Poet's been doing that for years. Right?
Yeah.
And he does go on world tours and he does do his thing, right? I don't know what he makes because he doesn't have a video out there like Navraj, but like he's doing his fucking thing.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's fucking doing and artists should take, from that and go harder. Right?
Yeah. And,
because you gotta go harder than the next man.
And you gotta have a plan. This is what I say. Like desiFEST wasn't an accident. It was a planned, strategic rollout.
Right.
Because we knew what we needed to do to develop what we did.
Yeah.
But in even doing that wasn't an accident, because I had 10 years of training.
Yeah.
In club nights and DJs and promoters and some really smart people taught me the game. So when this opportunity came up and I said I'm gonna do it, 80% of it I knew what I was doing. Yeah. The funniest thing there's an old Jay-Z video too where they ask him and they're like, oh, you're a pretty smart rhyme, and he's like, why would you think otherwise?
Yeah.
People come to me and like, I can't believe how successful or strategic or organized it is. Yeah. Why wouldn't you think otherwise? Because we learned how to do it. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't like, again, if you go back in my roots and you see old flyers of me trying to pimp out shows and trying to fill up, clubs, all of that was training and you put that to use. So when I look at this formula, and this is where I went to, New York and check out their formula, and I went to, UK a couple of years ago to check out the music scene there. There's got to be a formula. In Canada, we still don't have a formula.
Right.
No.
We're just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. Yeah. Then as soon as somebody makes it, they take off.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's really interesting, man, and it's frustrating.
It is, and I just don't think like, specifically Ontario, I don't really think they care too much about the arts. Like they do have big budgets, but I don't really see. Even like there was a arts center in Brampton, right? They really only wanted to work with established people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had no plan for the newcomers. Like they were just like, oh, you guys can use the space.
Yeah.
When it's free, book some time. You know what I mean? They weren't really giving us the full out. Yo, you guys need to do this. Maybe you guys should do YouTube. Maybe you guys should do this. They didn't. No ideas. Nothing.
Yeah.
No tips. Nothing. And I was pretty shocked about that.
Yeah.
Right? Because I thought I had high hopes going in there when I went with Jason.
Yeah.
And we were just like, yo, we should check it out and see how it is, right? And that's what it was with that, right? Like you could talk about it as well. Like, what do you think about like trying to get budgets in Ontario? Like, we've been trying for a while, and we've been showing. It's not like maybe our stuff's not out there to the public, but we have a lot of content that we're sharing with.
Not everyone's trying as a culture.
Yeah.
They're not pushing
that's it.
Yeah.
Right. There's only individuals that are trying to push it. So when it comes to the other end, they're not really seeing that. Hey, there's no movement, there's no culture.
Yeah.
Only some people see that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we educate our people more if they want to get somewhere?
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, I'm an artist, I just want to get signed. I don't even think that exists
anymore,
right?
Signed for what?
Yeah, signed for what?
That's all you hear.
Yeah, that's what you hear. That's what you hear.
That's what honestly motivates the new artists these days.
Yeah.
I just want to get signed. I want to be Beats by now.
Well, but that's the thing. It's like you said, they don't know what they're doing. Yeah. Right? Like, going back to that. They don't know what they're, like, it's not even they don't know what they're doing. They don't have a story. They don't know why they're artists. They just see on TV that girl's like that guy, so I got to be like him. I'm going to make the same hook. I'm going to take the same vocal. I'm going to sing like him. That's when you see like 1,000 copy Drakes, 1,000 copy J. Cole's, and that's all there is. Right? They just either want to be that or they want to be that, and whatever is trendy,
right?
And they'll all copy that sound.
It takes work. It takes more than writing one application over and over again, learning from your mistakes, building a resume.
Definitely.
And the thing is, we have to move as a community. And that's the thing. Like things like desiFEST, like you said, we need more.
Well, it was fascinating. We talk about wanting to be mainstream, and there's a formula in mainstream. Like, I spent 6 months going to every music meetup possible in the city just to see what happens, open mics, etc. You know how many brown people I see?
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's beneath us for some reason to busker and to perform at Eden Center or go to an open mic. Bro, nobody fucking knows me there, man. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Go work on your craft. Right?
Yep.
You want to get on stage, whether it's an unplugged night that I do or the desiFEST, go perfect your craft. Because you can't practice at a desiFEST stage. Because if the wrong time at the wrong crowd sees the wrong version of you, that's the image they're gonna have. This dude is whack, right? But I'm like, yo, let's go to some open mic nights. There's some in Kensington Market every Sunday. Bring your crew. Well, I mean, without budget, like they're not gonna come and like perform.
Yeah.
That's where planning and organization.
Right.
Like there's so many fucking obstacles, man.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Oh, even for the artist himself, right? It's not just that. If you look at the artists themselves, right, and then they have a group of guys. And then that's just the worst, right?
Yeah.
So if it's one artist, that's okay, because he's committed.
Yeah.
But then he tells his buddy, yo, we got to go on stage, and we got to go on stage, and then they just fuck up the vibe.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, nah, I'm not doing it there. And because even me and him, like, I'll be like, nah, I'm not doing that show, right? And he'll be like, nah, we should do it. And I'll be like, nah, we're better off putting out a couple of videos on YouTube, and like, that's my mindset. We're better off going and doing something online and working. The problem is when you're not doing either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just rapping into the mic and putting out singles, and that's it, right?
Well, that's what we're trying to do, man. When I went to New York, and I saw the format there, a couple of things. One, there's a ton of local support. Like, people would pay to go to shows. That doesn't happen here. 10 years later, we still haven't figured out a formula to actually get our community to give us money. Yeah. Right? Knock on wood, TD's been around. In the last 10 years, I've gone through everybody. So I'm like...
That's why I told Jason, yo, we got to make our own religion. We'll put the phone there. Everyone can bow down to the phone. Google Baba right there.
Yeah.
Charge everybody to come in.
I'm telling you, man. It's like the last 2 weeks, we've had so many people reach out to us as the word got out to go, is so-and-so performing, is so-and-so performing it. I'm like... I can't afford so-and-so. I can't afford so-and-so. But I will. How much are you willing to pay? Yeah. Right? Like, what if we crowdfund the people you want to see? Would you come and see it?
Yeah.
We have so many, rules against this stuff. And it's hard to do quality event. Like, when I went to UDC, they had Zach Knight, Rackstar. They had Amar Sandhu and Prana Music. They had Mickey Singh. They had Prophecy. Like, that is a 50 to 60 grand lineup. Retail fees. Right? Yeah. But they had 300 to 400 tickets for 3 events fully sold out. Yeah. Even if the dude broke even and didn't make any money, nobody lost their shirts. And that was in New York? Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I'm like, this is really dope. Yeah. But try to organize a panel like that in Toronto? No fucking way. No way. Right? There's no fucking way. So how do you facilitate? Because either the artist got to go, the reason I'm going to do this is to make these moves.
And that's what it is.
Right?
It's like the musicians have to, definitely.
And that's part of their ownership.
Have to help out as well.
And so if they'll
get farther by doing this.
Yeah, and this is entitlement, right? It's like, and this is why I go back to the earlier comment of, we don't really have an industry. Anybody that says we have an industry, fuck you, because we don't have an industry. Yeah. Okay? We have pockets of inspiration that sometimes can be monetized, sometimes it's not. Right. But we don't have a goddamn industry. Yeah. So in the absence of an industry, knowing you get older every single year, and there is no plan B to be a retired fucking artist in this country, in the short amount of time that you have to leave a mark, what the fuck is it? And if you don't have an answer for it, then you're not helping. You're just making stuff, which is cool, but you can't also have the conversation of I'm helping. Because you're not. You're just making good content. Right? Yeah. I'll jam to it. I'll see the video. I'll buy the MP3. Yeah. It's cool. Yeah. But you can't talk about building a movement. Because you're just contributing content. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And that's the struggle right now. Like, I look at the guys that I grew up with. Roach and Periche and Blitz and all these guys. Now, what's next?
Yeah, what's after single after 6 months?
Right? What happens? Yeah. There's no plan. Yeah. They can't continue to be an artist, but they got to be in the industry because that's what they're built out of. Yeah. And the next cats that are coming down the pipeline, I'm like, cool, you have a window. If it is, I'm going to make some shit, hopefully I'll blow up in India and then I'm out. then what do we leave behind? It's the same struggle we have as immigrants here, right?
Yeah.
Like, if my parents brought me here and I get educated and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going back to Singapore or India. What's the value in all that sacrifice?
Right.
There's got to be something a little deeper, a little bit more valuable.
That's what IQ was saying too from desihiphop.com. I don't know if you know, you probably know IQ, right?
Yeah.
So that's the same shit he's been telling us too. It's like, yo, like there's no industry. Like there's people make money, that's about it. Everyone else is just like fucking not even fighting for crumbs. Yeah. They're just fighting for whatever, maybe 2 minutes of spotlight.
For some views and likes.
No, it's funny, man. Like, you know, I'll tell you a small little story. I remember one of the first cats I reached out to for desiFEST was Baba Khan. And I was like, dude, you've been a mentor as a DJ and a friend and a promoter. I'm doing this thing. I need some urbanness. Come. And I remember I was in Scratch Lab with my wife, and he was like, I don't fuck with Indian stuff, man. You know that. I'm like, well, this is not. This is like an urban version. Come. So he brought some hip hop dancers and whatever. Okay. And 2 years later, Culture Shock is born. Because he's like, I'm on stage looking at the potential of this market. And I'm like, okay, I got Sonny Brown, I got Lomatic, my cousin that can sing. We haven't tapped this market yet. So he creates Culture Shock. And it blows up.
Yeah, I remember I went to one of the events back in the day.
It blows up. And it got to a point where these guys were like too big for desiFEST because I can't afford to book them. And I'm like, okay, right? And then it implodes. Their time is done. Now Bubba's back to hip hop, and he's now continuing this whole, you know, Desi urban music movement. Lomatic is Sick Kick. And I can't get a Lomatic on stage because he's now mainstream. But we all know where everybody started. Right? But this is the dilemma.
But this is the time to give back. Right? Where they started. Right?
So when fans reach out to me like, yo, would love to see Sick Kick on stage. Okay. How do we now go back to the same dudes that as Culture Shock, desiFEST had a value, but I get it as Sick Kick, it's not the same brand. But there's an involvement that we all created together. Right? And I think this is the challenge that I have as from a desiFEST perspective. Where do we fit in? If we're a marketing play only, we can only last as long as TD or some other person want to give us money. If next year I got no funding, who's gonna want to do this? Would artists sing for free? Would fans show up? Would people buy tickets all of a sudden? We have no idea. Knock on wood, we haven't had to ask that question yet. But we almost did this year because we had no government funding. And at one point we were like, we can't afford to do this. But all of the artists that we put on stage get booked nowhere else. So what happens to that ecosystem?
Definitely.
I don't have an answer. Terrifies me.
And it comes down to the artists that don't care, right? They're not seeing the vision. It's like you're saying, there's no industry. Because if even the bigger artists, the guys, even the Sick Kicks, and bigger than him that have come through the desiFEST family, it's like, I think they're not seeing it as in like, yo, this is something that we started, and if we keep doing this, it becomes a bigger festival. Right? Like if we keep doing it, even if we take less money, right? We just do this one show a year, and we, you know, it's gonna create something, and I think that's huge if somebody would do that.
And what you said is what I've been trying to get across. Like the desiFEST was just an idea, but we as a artist community built it. Like I am simply a guy with a mic that introduces people. I have no other talent. I can't sing, dance, perform, whatever. So for the last 10 years, and I'm hoping any of the artists that listen to it, first, thank you. Number two, it is a we project. Right? Like it is completely built by us to represent whatever this is. And like any good project, people will move on. This is not a, you know, forever gig. But I need everybody to start thinking about, if we don't have an industry and we have an obligation as a role model or whatever it is we want to define ourselves, what do we leave behind? Because, you know, like your little cousins and my two little kids, they don't grow up thinking I'm brown. For them, they're just young people with talent, right? My daughter's been on stage at desiFEST since 2. But she doesn't really understand what happens. But she loves Miss Staj on stage. She likes Navin. My wife is a big fan of Josh. They just like the content, but they don't define it as Desi urban music, right? So if she's not going to be a doctor or a mathematician or a scientist and wants to be a singer, what then? How do they identify themselves? Right? And I think it's up to our generation and the generation that we've been building with to help answer that question.
To help build the system.
Because the reality is we're not waiting for a plane to take us home. No. This is not like, okay, once my parents pass away, I can finally go back to India. Yeah. I am here. I'm going to be fucking buried in North America one day. Yeah. And we have a short amount of window to make a difference. Right. What the fuck are we going to do?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I agree.
Podcast people, answer it. Comment below.
Comment.
Love or hate, comment.
Straight up. Yeah, definitely. That was a lot. So how can people get on desiFEST?
Well, unfortunately, the lineup is closed.
Okay.
So I've decided to go and build more platforms. Yeah. And so we're starting an Unplugged night. Yeah. The first one is May 13th. Mm-hmm. And the hope is people would just come and vibe. Yeah. And all we're focused on is creating content. To your point earlier, until...
You said May 13th, right?
Yeah, May 13th. Yeah. Until people see more content from us, we have no way to go. We have a large enough community. So when I go out to sponsors and go out to brands, the people that they always identify is people from India. Yeah. Because they're making the most amount of noise. So when I say, don't go to India to buy a beat, there's guys in Brampton that could sell you a better beat. Yeah. They're like, oh, we had no idea. So part of our mandate going forward is to just create a shit ton of content. Unplugged nights, in-studio nights, podcast nights. Because when we can show volume and strength and unity, the brands have dollars. I spent 10 years of my life building mainstream business. Right? So we know there's money, but we need to get organized. So that's what we're trying to do. So May 13th is going to be a big day as a launch, and I'm hoping every month we can do that. We're also now investing in content creators. So people making shows, let's collaborate, because we can take the shows to the level that the brands are paying attention to. Right. And they've got money, man. Yeah. Funding. I had a chat with the guys from Factor. 1%, maybe 2% of the available fund goes to our community because nobody applies. Yep. And everybody knows the one guy who got denied from like 10, 15 years ago. We hold on to that shit. They don't like brown people.
And they don't even know. They don't even know Factor.
I'm like, when's the last time you fucking actually applied?
They don't know what Factor is. Everybody just tries. If they do apply, they try through government, Canada, whatever. They don't go for Factor. Yeah.
And 90% of the artists we book leave SoCan number blank in our contracts.
Right.
I'm like, go get a fucking SoCan number, man.
Oh yeah. Like, I remember Jason's first manager was like, "No, we don't need that." The first guy I met Jason through was his manager, and he was like, "Nah, we don't need that." And I was like, "What? Yeah, you don't need SoCan?
James like, you don't need him."
Yeah, I was like, "You don't need him." That's what I said.
Like, there's a system in place. Like, until we plug in, we can't take advantage of it. Yeah. I started a record label in Vancouver just to see how do we mess with radio and TV. Yeah. And we had our first album come out. We got Factor funding. We're starting a radio campaign. Yeah. We got 2 songs booked for movies. Yeah. Just learning formulas. So once we figure out what that blueprint looks like, let's give it up. Yep. If you're making a music, take it. If you want to get on radio, take it. You want to get your music synced up with movies, take it. Because we just got to do it once, man. Yeah. And that's what people understand. Yeah. You do it once, and it works, there's a formula. Yeah. And then we just build on it, and build on it, and build on it, right? Exactly. Like, this podcast is a formula. You do it right, you build it. Every other person that wants to do it, they don't necessarily have to be on your show. Yeah. Take the blueprint.
Yeah.
Make 2. Like, the desiFEST formula is super fucking simple. Yep. Book a stage, get a sponsor, get some vendors, book some artists. There's nothing smart or magical about it. Right? Yeah. But it's one desiFEST.
You take that and use it wherever else.
Do it. Do more. Like, you know how many people call me and they're like, "Yo, can you get us a booking at desiFEST? Because you've been..." No, call the fucking 1-800 number and give them a date. And if the date's available, you get the venue. That's all I do. There's no magic formula. I call them and I'm like, "I want to do a show next year again." They're like, "Here's 3 dates." I pick one. I move on.
Bro, nobody has initiative. They don't want
to get started, right? This is what I said.
They don't even do a Google search.
And so to tie back to our original comment, getting started is the hardest thing when you don't know why you're getting started. Yeah. Right? Getting into music is the easiest thing, but to sustain, it's hard. We don't know why you're in it. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. To get out of the music scene happy and to add value is difficult when you don't have a plan for what you're going to pay forward. Right. So then you get these angry dudes that are, retiring because they got no game. Yeah. There's young people that don't have a purpose, so they don't contribute. Yeah. And all of it in between has no industry. Yeah. And so people come picking us up. Brands come knocking and going, "Oh, you want 20 grand for your show? These guys will do the same for 10. Yeah. These guys in Girard will do for 5. These guys in Brampton will do for 8. We're bidding ourselves out of opportunities, right? And it's the game we set up. Even down to the media guys, like, I would call this blue band and they'll tell me it's $5K to run an ad. I would call this desiFEST and the same fucking ad is $800.
Yeah.
I'm like,
also, what these
why? Why? Because somebody will connect the dots and go, I'm getting screwed.
Yeah.
Right. And also, when you look at these Desi artists, I feel like they box themselves into the culture. Like, okay, if they're like, we're only gonna make Bhangra music.
Yeah.
They're only thinking about what the Bhangra artists.
That's what he said. They're like he was saying. It's all segregated.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he was saying that they're trying to make like he's saying that his daughter, his wife, they like certain artists for the song that they did when they were there. Like they're not looking at it as in like that's Bhangra. They're not looking at but the fans not, but the artists might be. Right, the artists and the labels might be like, oh, you have to make that funky folk, and you got to do that, like that. You got to sound like Jazzy B or whatever, you know. And
look, it's cool, but have a strategy for it. Like I've met artists that are making music for the UK market because they want to get on radio. Yeah, they figured out the formula. When they make it, UK plays it, and they get paid.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. That's a strategic investment of your talent against as a model, right?
Yeah.
Or make music that you like. Like I met guys that came to my office to play music, and they're just straight hip hop.
Yeah.
Good hip hop.
Yeah.
And they don't care who listens to it. Mm-hmm. They just want to play it. I'm like, okay, it's in you. You take it out, put it into the world. Don't chase views. It's cool. It's a creative process. You know, it's like having this thought of a beat and words that didn't exist. And then it's in your brain.
Yeah.
And you found a way to get it out into the world. Yeah. That alone is the magic.
Yeah.
Everything else that happens after, you have no control.
Right.
So why try to do it? Like when people send me links, they're like, yo, I've got 80, 90,000 views on my thing. You know, I'm blowing up. Can I get on desiFEST? I'm like, cool. But the video from 2 months ago only got 300 views.
Yeah.
I'm not that naive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we chase these perceptions. And I'm going, just make good music, man.
Yeah.
Like, the content should represent you in a moment of time. Mm-hmm. In the last 10 years, we've seen it's the same artists produce angry music, love songs, right? Hype trap stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're evolving who they are based on what's happening in the world. And that's really it. Like, people that are creative have an obligation to tell the story of what's happening in the world today. That's your obligation. You interpret it, and then you give it back as words or music or beats or paintings or whatever, and then you document that moment in history. Right? That's why we go back to the Biggies and the Jay-Z's and the Not, because they documented a time that still has relevancy. Not to my daughter, but to me it does. Right? But she jives to Mickey Sing's phone. Like, you know.
Well, you know what it is Mickey Sing might get inspired from a Biggie track, take that sample, flip it, and now we can both mess with
exactly.
that. You know?
Right? And that's what it's always been. And so I felt like a lot of what we tried to avoid is, you know, only showcasing talent that the older generation cared about, the Bollywood tracks and the Tamil songs, because that's what they grew up in. You know, they were the guys with the checks. So when I look at now young brand managers that are running to 30, 35, that are running top brands, I'm like, why do I have to convince you to support your own community? Do it, right? If you can give samples, if you can give money, you can do stuff, just do it. You know what I mean? And so I think it's a collective effort across the board, from guys like me, people that have the checks, you know, guys like you that are out there talking about stuff. It's a collective formula, but we have to keep in mind it is a collective formula. Like, imagine booking a show and I have no credibility and nobody wants to get on stage. That was my biggest fear from day one.
All right, man.
Yeah, we gotta cut this short. We could talk all day, but Jason's phone is dying on us for the film.
There you go.
So we're gonna have to cut this short. But yeah, thanks for coming through.
Oh, my pleasure, man. It's long overdue. The basement.
The basement.
Back in the basement.
Episode 2.
We're gonna have to get him back here because this was too good.
Yeah,
this was too good.
We gotta get you back on this one.
This is good.
We're gonna retire us and shit. We're gonna get Sats.B in the chair and we're gonna sit back and let this guy do his thing.
Nah, it's good, man.
Yo,
people
thanks
need to
for
hear
coming through, man.
Yeah. Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
The first guy we met on the podcast. So
yes.
And it was probably the best guy to bring through anyways.
It's gonna go viral. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Subscribe, like, comment, let us know. Give us questions for next time and your tag.
Sats.B.
Sats.B.
Instagram, yeah, all of
Twitter.
it is Sats.B.
Alright, Sats.B. Follow up. Watch desiFEST. Come to desiFEST. And peace out.
Later.